very much, everyone, for coming out here. It's good to be back at the TakeStock conference and to be able to provide a bit more of a technical overview on the work that we've been doing. I guess we'll kind of switch from talking about gold to gold and colored diamonds with North Arrow's Qilalugaq Project. So I'm Ken Armstrong. I'm the president and the CEO of North Arrow. I think my understanding is this is more of a try and get into the technical aspects, so I'm going to skip over a bit of the corporate stuff. I can talk about that at noon, but we're a diamond exploration company and a team of people that have good, successful experience in exploring for diamond deposits, evaluating them, developing them, and mining them. Our projects are entirely based in Canada. Our diamond projects, the main one I'll talk about is called Qilalugaq up in Nunavut, and I'll also touch on, as we have time, our Piku project in Saskatchewan, where we made the discovery of new diamond deposits there. Our other projects are all sort of on the pre-discovery side, and we also, just more as a placeholder, we point out that we have a property in Nunavut immediately along strike from TMAC Resources and the Doris Gold Mine that's going into production. The stratigraphy that hosts Doris is located on our leases there, and that's a project that we'll be looking to extract some value from here going forward. But diamonds, as I mentioned, is our main focus, and Qilalugaq is our primary project. This is a good slide to start with. I'd like to point out that in the background on this air photo, there's a little fuzzy blip there. That's the annual sea lift. And the shoreline here is the community of Nauyat. This is right on the Arctic Circle in Nunavut, and that is about 9 kilometers. That boat would be 9 kilometers from this area right here, which is our primary kimberlite. We call it Q1 to 4. Kimberlite is the rock that we look for that host diamond deposits. And this is just to sort of highlight and underscore the fact that this deposit is essentially it's located on the coast in the Arctic, and there's a real history of successful mine development in the Arctic for deposits that are located on tidewater, and this meets that threshold. We think we estimate that compared to the diamond deposits in the Northwest Territories that rely on a winter road, our freight costs to build the development here would be about 50% of what they are to the NWT diamond mines to utilize the winter road. So that's a really big check mark. Another is the fact that we are located in Nunavut. It's a settled land claim. It's an area where you can permit a mine. Agnico Eagle has permitted the Meadowbank and Meliadine gold mines over the last 8 to 10 years, so it is possible to get a mine in production here. The kimberlite, as I'll point out, is big. By Canadian kimberlite standards, 48 million tons is only down to about 200 meters depth. All of our tonnage is in one deposit instead of scattered amongst a number of different kimberlite pipes. That helps logistics, it helps with infrastructure, it helps with strip ratio, and a number of different things when you start looking at mining plans. The overall grade of the deposit is just over a half a carat per ton of kimberlite rock on a total recovery basis. Probably a recoverable grade will be in the neighborhood of about 0.3 of a carat per ton. So that's not as high as, say, the NWT deposits, but it's not far off and is a little bit higher than the Victor mine in Ontario. And that can work. Grade is often considered to be king when it comes to any mineral deposit, and it's very important. But with diamonds, it has to get married with what the diamonds are actually worth. And it's the valuation side of things that we've been working on and trying to get a handle on with this deposit. And there's blue sky here. There's another 15 kimberlite bodies in the area. We've been focusing on this one because it's closest to the community. It's the biggest and it has the higher grade. But certainly there's the opportunity to evaluate more and find more deposits. North Arrow's involvement in the project came about 2 years ago. We collected a bulk sample to earn an interest in the project from our partner, Stornoway Diamond Corporation. We completed that bulk sample. We recovered 384 carats of diamonds. We had them valued. This is essentially run of mine. This is what the sample looks like. These diamonds are what we call plus 9 DTC sieve size and above. So they're basically the diamonds that are maybe 3 millimeters in size and bigger, all the way up to the largest diamond, which is this cubic diamond right here, which is 4.4 carats. We had this parcel valuated in June of 2015, and the valuation was low. It was disappointing, and it disappointed the market, it disappointed us. The valuation, we have sort of a modeled range of prices, of possible prices for these diamonds that ranges from $43 a carat to $92 a carat. And despite all those positives that we just went over, it makes this project really tough. But we, in looking at the overall parcel, there's a number of things that you can take away from it. It is an unusual parcel in that there's a lot of yellow here. There's a population of yellow diamonds in this body, and we need to do more work to better understand these diamonds. They weren't really given what we thought they may warrant a premium price. And so with valuation, there was a number of concerns expressed about whether the diamonds could be polished. if they might fracture, if the colors might change. And we decided to move ahead then and let's answer some of those questions. And so we had a number of these diamonds polished, and we have some examples of them here. Myself and my colleague Nick Thomas are here, and we'll have a booth and be happy to show you the diamonds. This shows us two of the bigger diamonds that were on that previous photo. This is what the rough diamond looked like, and this is what the polished stone is like, and they've been certified as fancy, vivid, orangey yellow, and that vivid designation is a measure of the color saturation, and that means that the color has maximum saturation. It's the kind of designation that diamond tearers desperately try to get labs that do this sort of certification to give them, because a fancy, vivid color designation will get you the highest price. The certifications are done at the Geological Institute of America in New York City, and then there's also another lab called the Canadian Gem Labs in Vancouver that'll do the same sort of service. The GIA is sort of the standard bearer, so we had these diamonds certified at both labs as part of our own information gathering. But for us, we can clearly say now that the yellow diamonds in the Q14 kimberlite can be polished. They're beautiful. They are fancy colored diamonds. And we also see there is a bit of a range of color. We have one diamond that's a pure yellow. There's no orange in this diamond at all. This would be more like the color you might see if you go into Tiffany's or Burke's in here or in Toronto or Vancouver or New York or anywhere. Say, can I see your yellow diamonds? They are most often like this, or a pure lemony yellow color versus this more canary or amber or golden color that we seem to be seeing. And that golden color is really important, and this diamond is another one that we had polished, and it's been certified as orange yellow, and it all becomes a bit of a mouthful. But what's really important here is to get orange, orange diamonds are exceptionally rare. Most often, once you start getting orange, you start to get brown with them, and then that starts to decrease the value. If you can get pure orange diamonds, we're talking a whole other stratosphere of valuation. So clearly, when it comes to the diamonds that we have at Q14, we can say they're beautiful, they would be valued and usable in the jewelry industry, and they're worth a premium price. And it becomes a matter of how to characterize that price, and it largely comes from we need to go collect a bigger sample. On the sample side, the other aspect is, well, how many of these diamonds can we expect, and what impact does the presence of this population have on the overall diamond valuation? Because in the overall parcel, there's white diamonds and there's these yellow diamonds. I could go through it in a bit more detail at our booth if you're interested, but we did some work on the diamonds. We wanted to sort out what causes the yellow color in the diamonds, because that's quite important in determining if it's truly a separate population from the white diamonds. And what we've been able to show is that the yellow in our diamonds comes from single unaggregated atoms of nitrogen in the diamond structure. So diamonds are pure carbon. It's not at all unusual, though 97% of all diamonds have nitrogen impurities in them. For the most part, though, that nitrogen has been grouped, or what they call aggregated, into pairs of atoms or groups of 4 atoms. And if that's the case, it has no impact on the color, and you get a beautiful clear white diamond, and they put it in an engagement ring, and you're off to the races. If you have single atoms of nitrogen, it's really efficient at absorbing blue and violet light, which gives this orangey yellow color. Only about 1% of all natural diamonds have single unaggregated nitrogen. There's other ways that you can get yellow colors in diamonds, but this is a very unique way, and it shows that they're rare. These diamonds are only known to come from some small alluvial deposits in Western Africa, and then also some come from Siberia, and it's a little bit hazier to try and sort out where they're coming from. But it is a rare color, and when it comes to diamonds, rarity is a good thing. So more importantly, from an evaluation perspective for us right now is, if you have the single nitrogen atoms, what it means is those diamonds have to be really young versus the white diamonds, which have to be really old. So the white diamonds will probably have been in the mantle for on the order of 1 billion or 2 billion years. In order to still have the unaggregated nitrogen, the diamonds had to have been brought to the surface basically as they were growing. And so that tells us we clearly have 2 different populations. And that allows us to take a leap when we start plotting diamond size versus frequency, basically your grade you could look at on the y-axis. You get these 2 different curves. This is the curve for the entire diamond parcel, and if we just pull out the yellow diamonds, we get a much flatter curve. And we run out of data, and if these lines weren't here, we'd be able to see that there's basically 2 data points. So we're able to model 2 possibilities. Either this curve really remains very flat, which means when we get out to the big size diamonds, we're going to proportionally get more yellow diamonds than white diamonds, or the curve is going to mirror this curve and kind of attenuate and flatten down this way. In that case, we don't get, probably the proportion of yellow to white diamonds is going to remain the same. And for us right now, we don't have enough information to tell which case is going to be correct. But if this flat red curve was there, our diamond valuation will move up or can move up to be in excess of $200 a carat just using our existing valuation. So not using any bump in price for the cutting and polishing exercise we did, just for the current valuation. And this is what has told us, well, we need to do more work on the project. To do that, it requires sort of the 6 things we list here are the data points that we need to evaluate any diamond deposit. But we need more information on tonnage. I talked about the fact that our tonnage is all in one body. With our current resource statement, as I mentioned, it's only down to 200 meters. Strip ratio for that is less than 2 to 1, which is exceptionally low for a diamond deposit. Gahcho Northwest Territory mine that just opened up last month, it has a strip ratio that's going to be on the order of 11 to 1. This is a very low strip ratio, and it just means we're mining far fewer tons of waste for every ton of ore that goes through the plant. And that's really important. If we can expand that tonnage even down to 300 meters, we think we're still looking at a strip ratio of less than 3 to 1. It allows us to put more ore through the plant, and that can be very important. The other aspect is sorting out the size frequency distribution, so that's the grade and the size of the diamonds, and then the diamond value. And to do that, we need to collect more samples. So we basically have got a 3-phase program planned. We're going to do some more drilling. This shows the geological model for the Q1 to 4 kimberlite. In green, it shows the superficial outline. You can see part of it's under a lake, part of it's on land. We collected our bulk sample in this area, but in 2016, we had a crew out just basically digging around with a shovel to find more kimberlite that's near surface. We found some right in this area, and we also knew already that there was some here. This discovery was very important because it allows us to sample a different phase of the body that is higher grade. So for each ton of kimberlite we sample, we'll be able to get more carats from. We were able to sample this with a small mini excavator that we just sling out. It's so close to the community. We work from town, sling out a little mini excavator, and then we're able to free dig the kimberlite into bags and sling them back. And it's a very efficient way in this sort of high Arctic environment in order to get so much sample back to the coast where we can ship it south for processing. But you can see it is a complex body. There's 5 different phases. We see the yellow diamonds in all of these phases. And so we're quite comfortable that they're there, but we need to do more work to sort out grade and the proportion of yellow diamonds we see throughout the body. So that can be done with drilling and then more bulk sampling. So that's Q1 to 4. I think I'm running out of time. But just on the pre-discovery side, I talk about Piku, which is a discovery we made in Saskatchewan a couple of years ago. PK 150 body is highly diamondiferous. We've discovered 10 discrete kimberlite bodies here on the basis of till sampling, and till sampling works here. That's where we collect samples of till, and we find grains that have eroded out of the kimberlites and been dragged down ice in the glacial till, and we find those grains that have been derived from the mantle, and we move our way back. Where we stop seeing grains, we can then drill and we get kimberlite, and it's worked very effectively here. We conducted some till sampling this summer to look at areas where we have yet to really define good trains and make discoveries, and then also in some other areas where we're still sorting out and we're quite convinced that there are more kimberlites to be discovered. And a similar story to that is our Mel project. This is up on the Melville Peninsula, 200 kilometers from Repulse Bay, or Nauyat, which is where our Q1 to 4 kimberlites, the kimberlite with the yellow diamonds, is located. We've been picking away at this project over the last 3 years. This is the indicator train we have here, where the ice direction is off to the northeast. We've been focusing on following up till samples that we have in the order of 10 to 20 indicator grains. So that's a 20-liter sample that we collect, and from that we get 20 grains of mantle, garnets, and ilmenites and chromites that are about 1/4 of a millimeter in size. Last year, with the sampling that we did, we're getting an order of magnitude more grains in our till samples in this area here, up over 200 grains per sample. And the yellow dots you see are samples we collected this year to really try and cut that off. With these sorts of numbers, we have to be close to a bedrock source. So this is just how we systematically work our way through from conceptually identifying areas where we think diamonds could be located or kimberlites could be located, in areas where the mantle should host diamonds, and we just systematically work our way year by year to try and come up with a discovery. In the Lac de Gras area in the Northwest Territories, we have JV with Dominion Diamonds, immediately south of the Diavik mine, and then we have some other claims on our own. We own 100% that we're evaluating. So a lot of irons in the fire, but certainly Qilalugaq and these yellow diamonds are the primary focus for us going forward. We spent a fair bit of time understanding the diamond population, and we've fairly convinced ourselves that we can't we can't walk away from this. These diamonds are too valuable. It's too large of an inventory of diamonds on a global sort of diamond exploration space where there just isn't much out there. There have not been any significant diamond discoveries over the last 10 to 20 years, and it represents a significant project. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Any questions? We do have some time. Dan?
Two related questions. Could you comment on resorption and your yellow diamonds? Do they come from an eclogite layer, and do you have any evidence of the original rock that the diamonds were in your timberlites?
Okay, so a couple in there, all good. So this is just, I'll show you the parcel here. So in terms of resorption, one other characteristic of this parcel is there's a lot of cubic forms when we look at the yellow diamond population, and then the white diamond population has more of the classic octahedral, so those sort of 8-sided shapes that we think of when we think of a diamond. Resorption isn't huge on the white diamonds, and with the yellow diamonds, it's open for debate, but my view is I think that the diamonds were actually growing at the time, and so there's very little resorption, and they're almost skeletal, or they're growing, and the kimberlite erupted and brought them to the surface. With that age variation between the two diamond populations, the yellow diamonds, through a bunch of calculations that physicists have come up with on how aggregation happens, we can determine sort of the maximum residency time, the maximum length of time those diamonds could have spent in the mantle is in the neighborhood of about 3 million years, which basically means they're the same age as the kimberlite. And this kimberlite is about 540 million years old, so these are Cambrian diamonds. In a region, it helps with the whole construction and stratigraphy of the mantle in this part of the Churchill province, where there's been a fair bit of subduction and the creation of Proterozoic mantle, and I think most certainly they're probably eclogitic, but we haven't done enough work to look at inclusion and so on to prove that. But there are eclogitic nodules, there's perititic nodules, there's a full sort of mantle suite that we see in the kimberlite in terms of nodules and the chemistry of the mantle minerals that we see, the garnets and chromites and so on.
Other questions?
Given your unusual nitrogen population, is it possible that you may have some stones that are not recoverable by conventional X-ray techniques?
Yep. And
hence your original bulk sample did not recover some interesting diamonds?
We're pretty comfortable our recovery was good. We used an X-ray flow sort grease table combination, and a good number of those diamonds came off the grease table. And it was a double, just through our auditing and so on, because it's with a smaller bulk sample, you can put in a bunch of checks. So we're pretty confident in our recoveries, but certainly it'll be something to be looked at going forward. So the yellow diamonds do not fluoresce.
Could you comment, I think I'm right here, you are linked to Lucara somehow through your directors and ownership?
Only
because
through...
Lucara's it's been great for me as a show.
It's a fantastic story. William Lamb, the CEO of Lucara, is on our board of directors, and the principal investor in Lucara, Lucas Lundin, is our largest single investor. He owns just under 20% of the company. And basically when we put it together, we went to Lucas with an idea, and we said, if you like how things have gone in Africa, we have some ideas in Canada.
Do you have an identifiable geophysical signature on these deposits?
There is a geophysical signature. I'm not going to say identifiable in terms of a slam dunk. No, they're geophysically complex, so you end up using the full basket. The pipes were originally found by BHP, and they were using magnetics and electromagnetics and gravity, and with those different phases, they all have a different, unique sort of signature. So it's an important sort of tool on the exploration side, and it's a fair comment, I think, for all kimberlite or diamond exploration programs, is you need to be using all of the tools at your disposal. Very rarely do you get that one slam dunk technique, but they do have a geophysical signature.
All right. Well, thank you, Ken.
Great. Yeah, thanks very much. Come by the booth. I'll show you that.